Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing this 2024 Chevy Silverado 3500 High Country that is lifted. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to National GMC for giving me some time with this truck. This particular Silverado is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out this truck and the rest of the cars that they have. If you have any questions, just ask for David. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is the new Duramax, which is a 6.6 liter turbo diesel V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It produces 470 horsepower and then 975 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move on with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, this is actually normally silver, but it's been painted black to go with the overall theme of this particular build. And same thing with all the badges here on the side as well, so it has a really cool look. And then if we pop down to the headlights, you guys can see a similar theme. Notice how this is all blacked out, which looks really cool. And the headlight itself, notice how the bezel is darker. And then you guys can see the grille has been blacked out with the Chevy bow tie. Parking sensors here at the bottom. We've got tow hooks, we've got fog light action, and then notice the bumper, well, it's body painted. And so when you put it all together, it has this sinister blacked out appearance. It's really cool. Now, popping around the side here, we've got 37s wrapped around 24-inch wheels. So 37 by 13.5 by 24 in terms of the measurements. And here's a quick look at the design of the wheel itself. And it looks like we've got some pretty aggressive looking tires there. You guys can see we also have Fox shocks added with this truck. Obviously, it is lifted. Now, in terms of the amount, I'm not exactly sure. It looks like it's probably about 6 inches, roughly. And then you guys can see the fender flares have also been body painted. 3500 HD logo, again, blacked out. And then you guys can see the mirrors, like everything is blacked out on this truck, even all the window trim and all of that. And then you guys can see we've got the side step right here. And then this one does have the power steps. I guess that little strip right there is the only chrome left on the truck. And then you guys can see again, blacked out there. And then we do have some Fox shock action there on the back. And then here's your full side view on this Silverado. Definitely has that crazy lifted appearance. It looks pretty cool. And then taking a look at the taillights, you guys can see that those are also darker. And then everything here, who would have thought, all blacked out. And then this one has the multi-pro tailgate, which is really cool. I believe it's the second. Okay, so the second one's a tailgate. The first one is the one for the multi-pro where you can just pull that down, which is actually pretty cool. But anyways, you guys can see bumper also been body painted. And wrapping things up, let me know what you guys think about the overall stance of this build. But definitely has that cool lifted diesel truck appearance. And if you like negative offset, this has a little bit of it. Now, the interior of this truck has been left to be stock, but I do want to go over some key features. This is a High Country, so I've got really nice wood trim. And then you guys can see with the leather trim down below and the contrasted stitching. Got nice features like memory seats, you got blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, Bose sound system, the mirrors, you can extend them out. And then this is really cool. I like the High Country logo there, and then notice the center is all brown with these seats. I think that looks really sharp. And then getting in, let's see. So foot up, I mean, I'm basically like doing like a partial squat here. And then you got the grab handle, which will help out. But yeah, don't skip leg day if you want to get into this truck. But anyways, you guys can see you've got the new style of steering wheel. And, well, start her up. The full digital gauge clutch that comes with the 24 HD. You got the new infotainment system, heated and ventilated seats, trailer brake controls, obviously, because, you know, diesel pickup truck. You got the rear view camera mirror as well. And by the way, this does have a 360 camera system. It's just blacked out because I have the door open. But yeah, you got that feature. And then we do have a sunroof here at the top as well. Okay, well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood and hope we can see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors. And throughout the rest of the rear. It's so interesting with everything being blacked out. And, well, let us set off. And first off, let's turn around, which is probably going to be quite the ordeal because this is a huge pickup truck. But the one thing's nice about GM's heavy-duty trucks is they have independent front suspension, and so actually makes the turning radius a little bit better compared to like Ram and Ford that still use solid axles. And don't worry, I understand the benefits of solid axles for towing and all that. I will say, man, that's quite a bit of work to get that, to turn everything around with those 24s and 37s. You can tell the steering, the electronic steering system is definitely putting in some work. That is for sure. So first off, you know, being a high country, pretty dang comfortable seats. Chevy's seats are on the firmer side of things, but they're still comfortable. And I think that the reason that they make their seats this way, honestly, is because I've noticed that firmer seats hold up better over time, it seems like. So it's kind of a plus there. Yeah, good torque right off the bat. Braking doesn't feel weird. Sometimes when you do a lift and tires and all that, it can make the braking kind of a little bit wonky. That's not the case with this truck. Definitely gets up and moves at a solid pace. Is that really true? This thermostat says 112 degrees outside. Oh, it's going down a little bit, so maybe it's not actually that hot. Man, I'm cooking out here. I really am. Yeah, ride quality's good for what it is. I'm interested to see kind of how those Fox shocks perform over this little. Still has that, you know, big HD feel over the bump. I just drove a Raptor before this. Doesn't have the same squishiness as the Raptor, but does a pretty good job. I think I figured it out with the thermostat, by the way. So we started off in a dealership parking lot, and dealership parking lots are always notorious. Any parking lot in the summertime is always hotter than the surrounding area. So I think that, you know, now that we're out on the road, that's why it's going down, but in that parking lot, it probably was 112 degrees. So I know it's not related to the truck, but I'm just trying to like figure out, why is the thermostat so hot? Yeah, the braking's not weird, so I think that's good. Hey, look at that fellow lifted GM truck. Driving fast. They always drive. You know what's crazy to me is lifted trucks have such a high center of gravity, and they're heavy, and people drive these so fast. They drive them like race cars. I've always found that fascinating. I'm like, that is like the worst vehicle to go around corners fast and all that, but you know, people do it. See, lock to lock, no rubbing. So yeah, good job on the lift and everything. Tons of torque. This Duramax can handle these big tires quite well, so I think they've done a good job with that. Yeah, it's got more than enough torque to move. It doesn't feel like a struggle at all. Doesn't really feel like this Duramax is having to try whatsoever. So to start to sum things up here, I think this truck looks really cool on the outside. I'm a fan of blacking everything out. Now, you guys know I'm personally more of a fan of like smaller wheels and bigger tires. But, you know, I know that, I mean, especially here in Utah County, everyone loves this negative offset look with the huge wheels. Yeah, it's got some oomph. Yeah, so this new Duramax can move the tires and everything, no problem whatsoever. So I guess to finish summing things up, I think this is the truck to build. Like, you know, lifting a truck, it's an expensive endeavor, and so doing it with a fully loaded truck, it's like, yeah, I think it's kind of the way to go, because then you wouldn't, I don't know, sometimes like when people lift like more baseline trucks, it seems like they just want to upgrade, just get a nicer interior. But if you have the nicest interior and you lift the truck, it's like there's not really much higher you can go, right? So then it's something you probably keep for longer, so then you get more of your money's worth out of it, if that makes sense, right? If you keep a truck for 5 to 10 years versus only a couple of years, because you're like, oh, I love the lifted stuff and everything, but I really, you know, like what I hear from people, so like, man, I really want to, you know, more features. But again, this has all the features. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about this lifted Duramax, but the new Duramax can handle a lift quite well in terms of getting the truck up and moving it. It's not even trying. And then, you know, with the new Silverado, and this obviously applies to the GMC Sierra as well because they're the same truck, it's good for an HD truck with a lift. It drives really well, it's comfortable. And so yeah, I mean, if you're looking to upgrade your truck and you bought a new GMC Sierra or Chevy Silverado, I think it's a good route to go, honestly. I think the biggest benefit of, man, I suck at parking lifted trucks apparently. Let's try that again. I think the biggest benefit of purchasing this over a Ram or a Ford with the lift is that independent suspension makes it so that, you know, turn-in and everything with such a big, I just give up. With such a big vehicle, makes it a little bit better. That's all.